So a lot of you righteous pastors have to tell these false pastors to repent, man, let alone us too. This is the reason why we're doing these videos, man. And this is the reason why we have to keep doing these videos, because we have to combat these false doctrines, man. Right? So just to give you a short story from a long story, right? As I was saying, I had my little run-in with a religious church pastor at my local supermarket, right? So it's the poultry, it's the meats, it's the steak and the beef or whatever, it's the pork. So as I'm keeping past the meat section to go to the cold cuts, because there they have like kosher cold cuts, the chicken cutlets, the turkey cutlets or whatever. So as I'm going to that section, I see a brother there, and I notice that he's looking at the pork chops, right? So in my mind, automatically, Deuteronomy 14 and Leviticus 11 pops into my mind, and I'm thinking to myself, like, man, our people just can't seem to leave this pork alone, man, no matter what, right? Because the truth is out there, man. It's all over the internet, the dietary law or whatever. So, I was thinking about going to tell him something about it, but the Spirit also told me, just leave them alone, because some of our people just ain't going to repent, man. The truth is out there. They just ain't going to repent. They do whatever the hell they want to do anyway, right? So as I'm continuing to walk past him, I guess the Most High put the Spirit in him to say something to me, right? So I'm thinking to myself also, like, wow, this got to be a test of the Most High, because at first I was going to say something to him, but being that I was going to walk by him, the Most High told him to say something to me, right? So he has this big pork chop pack in his hand, right? So he's telling me, yo, man, I'm telling you, these pork chops are good, man. You just gotta, when you season them up real good, first you gotta let them soak in water to get all of the blood off them for like a few minutes. And mind you, that red substance that they have on the meat when you buy it, it's not act blood. It's the substance called myoglobin. It's like imitation blood. You know what I'm saying? It's called myoglobin. Look it up, right? So he's telling me, you just got to let it soak for a little while and, get all the blood off it. And then when you do that, you clean it and then you season it real good. And this is some good eating, man. These pork chops right here, they taste good. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, man, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm like, he probably don't know about the dietary law or whatever, right? So I'm telling him, I said, I know, I understand, you know what I'm saying? But I said, me, brother, I don't eat. I left that alone a long time ago, right? So he's like, yeah, I understand. I know. And mind you, this brother also, he sort of looks like, I don't know if you know the character from Martin, man. He was named Shag. He sort of had like this weird wig thing going on in the back, some curly wig or whatever with the bifocals. He was a very funny character in Martin, man. One of my favorites, by the way. But his name is Shag. He sort of looked like him without the wig in the back, though, right? But he sort of looked like him a little bit. So he's telling me, he's like, man, yeah, this is some good eating. You know what I'm saying? You season it real good, and you put the salt on it, the pepper and all that. So I had to come out and tell him. I was like, you know what? Just to let you know, brother, people of our faith, you know what I'm saying? And that's to also say that it's your faith too, because I was like, you're African American, so this is our faith. These are the scriptures. We're not supposed to eat pork according to the Levitical laws, which is in Leviticus 11 and Deuteronomy 14. We're not supposed to be eating swine. This is what the Bible calls swine. It's an abomination for us to eat, right? So as I'm telling them this, mind you, I had on my hat at the time too. I don't want to forget. I had on my hat at the time, right? See, can I adjust this light because it's getting kind of dark, right? This is my true fat, and then the U is substituted for a 7-branch menorah, right? So as I'm telling him this, right, he looks at me dead in my eye. First, he looks at my hat, and then he looked down at my fringes because I had on fringes too, right? And then he says, I know, I'm aware of it. I'm aware of Deuteronomy 14 and Leviticus 11. So I was like, wait a minute. So if you know about this right here, then why is you still eating pork, man? We're not supposed to be eating this stuff, man. This is swine, right? He said, I understand, man, but it tastes so good, man. It tastes so good. I can't put it down. And I'm like, Oh man, right? So I'm thinking to myself like, wow, I can't believe this, right? So I asked him, I said, so how do you know about Deuteronomy 14 and Leviticus 11? And once again, he looks at my hat, and then he looked down at my fringes, and then look at me and says, I'm a church pastor. That's how I know about it. I know about Deuteronomy 14 and Leviticus. So I said, if you're a church pastor, why are you still eating this swine, man? You're supposed to know about this right here. You know this is an abomination. And he just smiled and walked off, man.